Aha, what is going on, crypto people? Interesting time. Interesting to be interesting time to be early here in the XRPL community. Some interesting stuff going on today. I gotta tell you. Oh, let's shine a little light on this situation. Let's shine a little light on this situation. What is going on, crypto people? Interesting time. That is so funny. That is really, really too funny. Listen, we got to get into some interesting stuff today. Got an interesting list being shared publicly. I'm going to get into that. I'm completely opposed to that nonsense. We'll get into why. Listen, got some interesting tweet coming from a Flare Finance guy about the price of XRP and the lack of utility amongst the XRP community. We're going to get into that for sure. Jungle did a video about some of that. Jungle Link did a video. I respectfully disagree with Jungle, but we're going to get into that. We're going to get into all of that stuff. Look, the market is doing what it does. You got devs frustrated, content creators frustrated, investors, community members frustrated. The bear market has gotten to us all. It has gotten to us all, but we're going to get into some stuff. And I took some notes. I took a couple of pages of notes to share with you guys because these are some really, really important topics to cover today. So we're going to get into some of that for sure. I got some solutions. We're going to look at this list because this list it's not great. It's not a great look. Not a great look. And underneath it all, to me, seems just a level or a foundation of just massive frustration. Really does. Well, we're going to cover some tweets from this Wojek dude, from someone who I think is a part of the Crypto Caesars fam. I believe it's from him. Now, his Twitter or X name is on XRP or something off. I don't know, off XRP, whatever it is. We'll cover it. But I think the list comes from Ripple in it. I forget what it's called. Ripple it in.nz. Right. So we're going to get into that. And I believe he's been, he's a constant community guy at one point. And I haven't seen that name, I think, in a while. I think he popped in a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it's that guy who's putting the list together. We'll see. We'll cover it. I don't think it's a good idea. I think more bad than good can come from that list. That's kind of where I am on that. We're going to get into some more stuff as well. We'll go over the numbers. We'll go over the market because, it's just doing what it does. Now, look, I had to restart the stream. And I changed the latency on the old stream and didn't change it on the new one, which means the comments is going to be like a significant delay between starting the chat and going back. But then after I started, I got to start it again. So anyway, we're going to get into that stuff. Interesting stuff for sure. Oh, by the way, it's going to be like a Flare Network dev, I guess like Q&A in the Discord. So hopefully I can pop onto that and see what's going on Flare Network. Flare is doing its thing, guys. Flare Networks is doing its thing. I'm going to get into that. So we're going to cover Wojek's tweets. And I think Wojek has been someone who has been highlighted, featured on Crypto Eddie's channel a couple of times. I get the frustration. But look, the title of this video, XRP price, this is not the devs' fault. It's not the devs' fault for not coming out with projects. It's not their fault. And we're going to get into why I believe it's just not their fault. And then the rest of the title is the problem with the XRP XRPL misinformed/informed list. List, not a great idea. Leads to comparison, which leads to freaking judgment, which leads to your stuff is better than mine. It's not a great look. More harm than good will come from it. I get the frustrations, and we're going to talk a little bit about 2 content creators in the community that obviously are at the, right at this, right at the, forefront of this whole nonsense with the conspiracy theory and the misinformed and non-informed and outdated, the things that, developers seem like they have a challenge with. So we're going to cover that as well, and kind of get into some of that stuff for sure. Look, we're going to have it's going to be a very, very interesting live stream for sure. So I can't wait. I'm going to let some more people check into the stream. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button on the way in. If you haven't done so already, no worries. Just collapse that chat, go smash the like, and then come back and hang out with Crypto Siege and the family. Interesting stuff. For sure. I wanted to do the video, do this live stream a little bit earlier, but I'll do another one. I'm going to cover this, probably be like a part 2 with this live stream as well, because it's important for sure. And look, I got a solution. Like, I don't think the list is the solution to, the frustrations. I don't think that list is the answer, but this whole tweet from Thanos Samos, I'm going to cover that, about the fact that the XRP price is not moving because, in essence, he's saying it's because investors are not utilizing their XRP, that they're just holding on to it. And I agree with him more so than I disagree with him. I agree. I agree with him in a lot of what he's saying there for sure, because I know that the vast majority of XRP holders are just holding it, and to compare it to Bitcoin is like completely different. You can't use Bitcoin. It's not a lot of places to use it, right? But XRP, here's one of my examples, and I'll get into the tweet. Ask yourself this: what's going on, Trade X Gen? What up, Siege? How you doing today? I'm doing outstanding, bro. How are you? So, remember when the XRP tip bot came out? I don't know if you were in the community then, Frost and Mash. Remember that XRP tip bot? And remember the platform where you could stream micro payments to content creators, and if you had a blog or whatever, if you had a channel or whatever, you could stream payments. My thing is, how often or widely used do you think that XRP tip bot was? Like, do you think that was massively adopted and used every day? Do you think the streaming thing was used? No. And I think the reason for that is because more people were listening to Ripple than they were listening to the community and or the devs. Now, the challenge with that is that the devs, in my humble opinion, have been hamstrung from the beginning. Like, a lot of people keep missing it. A lot of people keep missing the fact. Well, let me share this tweet, then I'll get into it, because I think it's important to have some context. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Let me find that tweet first, because we got some really, really good news on this recent judge ruling here. I mean, it's a really good news. We should be talking about that, but we got to cover kind of this drama going on in the community and make sure that it's covered correctly. Why does that not show up? Why does this do? Is it user? There's Thanos there. Let me just go to his page, because it Thanos Simos. Now, this says project manager at what formerly known as Flare Finance, is called Enosis now. Let me find this tweet, and then I will share it with you guys. Panos has had some very, very interesting tweets as well, doing his part to participate. Let's see. Let me find it. Hold on a second. I'll find it. Yeah. All right, there it is. So let's go here. Let's go share. Let's go there. Boston, Mass. Interesting tweet. Let me do this. Let me do sound anyway, even though I don't need to do sound. So this is a tweet. Again, this guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I think it's Thanasimos. Or it's Thanasimos. It could be that as well. All right. It says, again, this guy is a project manager at, I believe that to be Flare Finance. Okay. Want to know, formerly known as Flare Finance, now it's called Enosis. Want to know why the argument that XRP is a security resonated with people outside of the XRP community and crypto space as a whole, he asked. Because they can see how many of you behave and talk about XRP and Ripple. XRP isn't a security. These are he's saying these are quotes from the community. XRP isn't security, it's a utility token. And then he goes, what do you use it for? And he's saying that the community is saying Ripple built some great ODL and settlement tech that can use XRP once the banks get on board. So you are just waiting for Ripple to make it usable? Of course not. I can use it for stuff too. Like what? I can buy NFTs. Do you buy NFTs? Not really. I have diamond hands and don't want to spend my XRP. Anything else? Well, Joel Katz said that they're going to add an AMM so that people can provide liquidity. Okay. Are you going to do that then? No, because I don't want to incur permanent loss during the 100x moonshot when everyone finally realizes that XRP is the standard. And when does that happen? When all of these banks working with Ripple finally decide to use XRP for ODL. And for me, that's the $64 trillion statement. Because the loudest voices in the community constantly promote that. Like they're the loudest. And what I say is, why are they the loudest? You could spin up a YouTube channel, X account, Instagram account, TikTok account, and be louder. Just be louder. Sitting back and complaining about it's not the answer. Just be louder. But to me, this is the thing that the loudest content creators, the loudest, right, with DAI and Brad Kimes, the loudest content creators in the XRP community, this is what they talk about all the time. Take the Crypto Eddie and the Mickey B. Fresh approach. Devs, take their approach. Project managers in the community, take the Mickey B. Fresh and the Crypto Eddie approach. Be louder. Right. So anyway, we are back to you just holding it and waiting for Ripple to do something so that the institutional money will come raining in, pumping your speculative investment and making everybody rich while you avoid actually utilizing the token in the meantime for fear that you might make less if you don't react fast enough to the overnight 100x moonshot. Does no one else see how self-defeating this is? XRP, along with many other crypto assets, is not a security, but it'll be, I guess I can say, damned if 90% plus of you don't treat it like one. And why would anyone want to start using new financial monetary infrastructure if the people already involved are afraid to use it? I'm not sure if I agree with that statement. Here's a thought. Over the next few months, buy $100 of XRP, set it aside. Then set another $100 aside in USD. When the AMM launches, provide that $200 of liquidity and sit and watch it for the next 5 years. Maybe you make some, maybe you lose some, but you will definitely learn something. I'll let you do the math on what it looks like if every XRP holder does that. Vitse then said, well, here. Okay, all right. So Donaldsimo says, you guys have worked hard, insanely hard to produce something amazing. It makes me sick to think about people not using it, or at least trying it, from fear of missing out on some perfect, ideal moonshot dream. Getting to freely utilize your assets and value is the dream. Vitse said 100%, thank you. Jungle Inc. said people invest in many things and not securities. You need an ecosystem that's attractive to developers, users, and investors, and that is 1000% correct. But the fact that there isn't an ecosystem that is attractive to developers, users, and investors is not Deb's fault. It's Ripple's fault. It's Ripple's fault. And I'll explain to you why I say that. Then Nanosimo says, correct. That was the point of the post. Willingness to participate is what makes an ecosystem attractive to developers. And what a lot of people miss with Ethereum, right? And significantly miss what's going to happen with the sidechain, in my humble opinion, is people participate in Ethereum because projects were willing to participate on Ethereum because of smart contracts. Whatever that is, ease, speed to get your project completed, whatever it is, that's why projects hopped on there. What a lot of people keep missing is that Ethereum was the third blockchain to get launched. XRP was the second blockchain to get launched. Right? And this is why I've been doing my little drive time videos and my little rant about Ripple. I asked the question. I did a video. You should check that video out. It was a drive time video. I said, is Ripple for us or against us? That was the title of the video. Is Ripple for us or against us? Now, I was talking mainly about CBDCs, but I did venture into the direction of the XRPL. Who led that charge? Who was leading the charge for the direction of the XRPL in the beginning? In 2012, in 2013, in 2014, in 2015. I got one answer for you. So I'll take this one out so you can try to think of some other thing. It wasn't the developers. Let me say that again. It was not the developers. It was Ripple, the company. It was Chris and Brad. Right? So just think about this for a second. Brad, right? Brad's a smart guy. Well, right? He's articulate, good-looking dude. Makes for a great CEO, sharp. And I know behind the scenes, he's a CEO. Don't be misled by the public face. Don't be misled. The dude's a CEO. All right. So you got David Schwartz, you got Stefan Thomas, you got Evan Schwartz, right? They're there. David, Evan, Stefan, developers, early Bitcoin developers on the XRPL. This Codius thing is, I believe, around before Brad gets there. I'm not sure of the timing. But in any case, the CEO is responsible for leading the company in a direction, the company, not the XRPL, the company. Who made the decision? I ask you, and I'll wait for an answer in the chat. Who made the decision when they came to a fork in the road to drive the direction of the XRPL towards payments as opposed to CODIUS and smart contracts? Who made that decision? Here's what I would like to offer. I would like to offer that in the beginning, Evan Schwartz, Stefan Thomas, David Schwartz were employees of a company. Now, their title may have been developers on an open source, permissionless, decentralized blockchain. But weren't they employees? Who made the decision? Who made that decision to go the payments route as opposed to the smart contracts route? I don't know who made the decision, but I ask you, who made that decision? If the ledger is open source and permissionless, when Evan Schwartz and Stefan Thomas left, why wasn't CODIUS built out? Why didn't it continue? We all saw the video with Greg Kidd and Steve, Chris Larson. I want to call him Steve Larson. That's a marketer. Chris Larson, Greg Kidd, on that little panel, there are 4 people, and dude in the audience asked about CODIUS. And I believe 2 of the 4 people spoke to the prowess, to the genius that is CODIUS. Why wasn't it put on the ledger? Why was it not put on the mainnet? Who made that decision? The 3 developers? Who made that decision? And if it was the 3 developers, let's say it was them. When they left, when 2 of the 3 left, and David Schwartz, I believe, moved from employee to advisor, why wasn't it put on? Why was it shelved? Who made that decision? Here, I got another better question for you. Was it a community of developers running a DAO or some form of governance? Or was it just a decision from a chain of command perspective? Right? Do you really think that there aren't a bunch of projects that want to build on the XRPL? Why do you think it's the second blockchain? So developers couldn't know about Ethereum because it wasn't out yet. Why didn't they build on the XRPL? Why did it go in one direction? Payments. Why? And what happened to those projects wanting to build on it? Why weren't they able to go in this direction of some other kind of thing, smart contracts or anything else? Why? Let us not forget this XRPL foundation.org and this XRPL Commons and this freaking Ripple X thing, that just started. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that 10 years old? Or did that just started? And by the way, I'll ask you another $64 trillion question. Is a Ripple employee in charge of those very things? Probably not XRPL Commons. Who's in charge of the foundation? Who's in charge? And so again, riddle me this. Why hasn't CODIUS been put on the XRPL? Why do we have to wait for Flare Networks and or XRPL Labs? Why wasn't it? It's been around for a while. Who's making that decision? Did you get a vote as an XRP holder? You know, you got a lot of DAOs and a lot of governance DAOs. Like when people hold some of the crypto and stuff, they get some voting stuff. Do you have that with the XRPL? Do you have some voting rights on the direction of this open source, permissionless blockchain? Now, Ripple is, they've decentralized. That doesn't mean that it's decentralized. I mean, I'm telling you, they spoke about CODIUS. I mean, just gleaming, smiling from ear to ear. I'm talking non-Ripple people, like just amazed at how awesome CODIUS was. And it got shelved. It got shelved, my friends. Wojtek says, you, sir, deserve a follow. 200% correct. %200% correct. Let me get back to the chat, see what's going on. Jungle Leaks in the building. What's going on, Jungle? Right? Let me get to some of these chats. I'm going to cover some stuff. But here's, in my opinion, the lack of building is on Ripple, the company. And a prime example of it is, why does Vin have to go and create another side chain in order for hooks, which brings smart contract capabilities to the ledger, to the mainnet? Why does he got to go build another side chain? Why? If the XRPL is in fact open source and permissionless, the big elephant in the room, and you got people like Scott Chamberlain and I think he's of Evernodes, and you got the DS guy at Expectar bouncing around. They're bouncing around the elephant in the room. They don't want to speak to it because subconsciously they're worried about retribution in the form of whatever, or the lack of whatever, in terms of grant money, for one example. I challenge you to go speak to the people at Sologenic. Go speak to them and find out why, for, or how come these little pivots that they had to make. Why? I ask you another question. Why can David Schwartz, who is one dude, say that the hooks will not be on the mainnet for a long while? How can he? The dude is just one dude. Isn't it open source? Who makes the final decision? Oh, the validators. Where are they? Where are these validators? Where are they? Why is it taking so long for it to come to a vote, or whatever the delay is? Why is that? Why is there a delay? Because Ripple, the company, has decided that the best use case for the open source permissionless blockchain called the XRPL is payments. That's why. That's why. And again, no one can answer for me why is if Codius is the genius that it is, and could have brought smart contract and then some capability to the XRPL, why ain't it on there? Why is it not spinning? Why is it not up and running? I'm Jungle, you probably know this, but I'm pretty sure that Codius was the brainchild of Stefan Thomas. I'm pretty sure he was the brainchild behind. Okay, if he's the brainchild behind it, why did it never reach? And he's now, and he no longer Ripple. Why ain't it on the main? Why ain't it on the mainnet? Let me turn this off. Apologize. We are live, right? Why? Let me get to the chat. Let's get into it, right? And here's the other problem I have as well with the one problem I do have with the devs, right? If you got a challenge with conspiracy theory people and misinformation, do something about it. Be louder than them. It's really, really simple. Be louder. Be louder. But my thing is, and I'm going to get to the chat, my thing is the reason why the devs aren't building is because the devs aren't building. There's no smart contract capability on there. We're talking about a community who is probably the biggest community with the most content creators. Mike, I don't know the difference between an Ethereum dev and an XRPL dev. I just noticed the XRPL devs were around before the Ethereum devs. Are you suggesting to me that they somehow can't come up with the project? They can't come up with the project? Really? Or is the XRPL being driven by another entity? And then they finally said, okay, we'll do this federated sign change thing. Give you something to do. But hey, you still got to go through that proposal and that amendment thing and have it pass. Who's controlling that? Who's controlling it? I voted more on Flare Network stuff than I have on XRP stuff. And Flare Networks just got started. It's more community driven. No one wants to say it. Everybody's dancing around it. Why are you dancing around it? That's the issue right there. It's with Ripple. This is why Ryan Selkes has been on Ripple. He only changed his mind a year or so after the foundations and the Ripple X and stuff launched. That's when he changed his mind. Ripple started, losing their share of the DUNL thing. Stefan Thomas was the brainchild behind Codius. I'll ask you again, why is it on the ledger? If it is in fact open source and permissionless. Why? Why? Who made that decision? I hope I'm not uninvited to the party in New York. But why? Let's get into the chat. All right, XRP Magnificent. What's going on, my guy? Good to see you. Let me move this thing over here. Jungle is in the building. Kyle T. Moore, what's going on, my friend? I think the real problem is lack of building. No one needs Electro on ETH network, Cardano, Matic, but valuable apps and people will use them. Absolutely. Why aren't they on the ledger? Because of the devs? because the devs can't come up with some stuff. Do you really think that the devs just can't come up with some stuff? I'm told that the XRP ledger in its current state it's a payments ledger. Payments ledger. How many of you have hopped on poof.io? How many have been on Poof? Tried it out, integrated your wallet on it. What about dexfi.pro? Been on that? Have you checked it out? Have you looked into it? Have you done a video on it? And this is a question for the devs who want to look to the community for blame. How many times have you, Wojake, or you, I don't know what the guy's name is, the on XRP or off XRP, whatever I do his name is. How many times have you promoted Mickey B. Fresh's channel? Are you a Patreon member of Mickey B. Fresh? How many times have you promoted the amazing work that he has done on XRP and the XRPL? How many times? He's speaking the truth. He's laying out all the good stuff. Have you been to MickeyBFresh.com? Have you shared it? I guarantee you most of the developers don't even know. And I still need the answer to this question. Are there XRPL developers that are employees of the company Ripple? Are they employees? Or are they part of some DAO or some governance, not working for a company, but out there doing their thing and putting suggestions to the community for where this open source permissionless blockchain should go? Does the Ripple validator thingy look like Flare Networks? It's not the dev's fault. It's Ripple's fault. Ripple, in my opinion, made a judgment call, as we like to say it in the business world. And they said, we're going to go the payments route. And we're going to make sure that nothing gets in the way of the payments route. Again, I ask you, did the developer say, oh, okay, cool? Like there's a big difference between being a developer and being an employee that happens to develop. My understanding is David Schwartz was an employee at one time and then transitioned out of that. Ripple from day one has been looking, ever since the FinCEN people knocked on the door, have been looking and got a little strategy to try to look as not centralized as humanly possible. They forgot the one part, though, about the community voting on the direction of an open source, permissionless blockchain. Well, that's not happening. Why not? Because Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse had been directing it. Now, they may be loosening the reins with these sidechain things, but they've been directing the ledger. And again, people like Scott Chamberlain and Wojake and some other devs, I don't know, Panos maybe, perhaps, they're dancing around it. Like they're dancing, it's being directed. Right? That's why Hooks is taking as long as it's taken. And in my opinion, this is why they came up with the sidechain. They had to come up with something before it became so obvious that they were directing the XRPL. And I still believe that employees are running this foundation. So you can be a developer all you want, but if you're an employee first, if you have decided to be an employee first, you don't have the ultimate decision-making capability. You're an employee. A lot of those guys, Stefan Thomas, Evan Schwartz, and I forget the other young guy that's doing some other stuff, right? They realize, hold on a second, this being an employee thing, that doesn't lead that, you know, I can't make command decisions. Chris and Brad are making those decisions, which by default means that stockholders, shareholders, whatever they call themselves, are making the decisions. If you talk to the developers, they'll tell you that it is freaking hard to build on the XRPL. Hard. They say it's massively difficult. And then if you happen to get something and get to a point where you got to propose something, why for the delay? Why for the delay on the hooks? If it's such a great thing and it's going to bring smart contract capability, why for? What's the delay? Flare Networks recognize this and figured a workaround. They figured out a workaround. But yeah, I mean, these are the words of I'm not a developer. These are the words of the developer community. It's hard. All these devs are so excited about this hooks thing and this sidechain. Why are they so excited about it? Because they can begin to build some stuff that they want to build. And it took building another network in order to do it. It took XRPL Labs saying, hey, you know, I'm trying to be, you know, committed to this ledger thing. And I'm trying to, you know, work hand in hand and be cohesive, be one big thing. But what's taking so long with the hooks thing? And then they just recognized the politics behind it and built a sidechain. I promise you that's the answer. They recognized the politics behind it and built their own thing. And I humbly believe, I don't know, but I believe that there are people, you know, knocking down the door, can't wait to get on this sidechain. Because they can actually build something. That's what I believe. So they can finally build something. But Ripple's on a mission, and they got shareholders. They ain't messing it up. They can't afford to. They can't afford to. And I'm not blaming them. What I'm saying is they made that command decision. The community of developers didn't make a command decision to go in the payments route. I could be wrong, but that's what I think will happen. All right. Alex G, what's good, my friend? Billionaire H is here. I guess holders haven't gone to Ripple directly to see how the ledger can be utilized. Yep. Oh, they lost the case. What do you mean? What do you mean? Against Coinbase? Did they throw that out? Almost all devs came after these decisions. If they didn't want to build payment solutions, why are they on the XRPL? Because it can move anything of value in 3 to 5 seconds for less than a penny. Because it's a blockchain that has never, ever gone down. But if the chain doesn't have capabilities to build a project, how can you build a project? Unless you're going to do payments like Poof. P-O-O-F, Poof. unless you're going to be doing payments. The developers have said and spoken and said that the ledger is a payments ledger. It's a payments ledger. It's not a DeFi ledger, not yet. Payments. That's what they said. I just listened to the Twitter Spaces. The dude said it's massively difficult to build on it, and it's a payments ledger. It's not a small project business ledger. That's what he said. And I would imagine that the devs know better than you or I know. They just told you why. So you're left with building wallets, right? You're just left with building, wallets. I have been in communication with a massive project, in my humble opinion, that is waiting on Ripple to make a decision on hooks. So the project is just hanging out. Yeah, I talked to them. They're waiting. My point is, you didn't get to vote on whether hooks should be on the mainnet or not. I didn't get the vote. XRP holders didn't get the vote on that. Again, if you want to tout that it's open source and it's permissionless, make it that way. It ain't that way. Yeah, you can hop on, and here's your lane right here. Payments. Go build me some payment stuff. Make payments better. Make this thing that can move anything of value in 3 to 5 seconds for less than a penny. DeFi and bridges and other stuff, yeah, that's not necessarily, that's not in the agenda right now. Let us get this payments thing done. Because you could say most of the developers, David Schwartz was there. Stefan Thomas was there. Evan Schwartz was there in the beginning. Right? Chris, Brad, David Schwartz, Arthur Brittle, Jed. 2 of those dudes bolted. No one asked why. No one asked why. Here's my answer. Because they ran into business savvy people and they are developers. That's why they left. Because there's a significant difference between people who are used to building businesses as CEOs and those who are smart computer code guys. There's a big difference. The skill sets are significantly different. No one asked, why did they bolt? Why did Jed and Arthur leave? Because there was a difference of opinion on a direction of the XRPL. Deb's on business, people. We all have witnessed Jed's business acumen. Right? We all witnessed that. That's not great. That's why he had to get a CEO. I mean, for me, it's as plain as day. I've worked and partnered with billion-dollar CEOs. I know how they act. I know how they act. I know the contracts that they draw up. I know the law firms that they have with them. They are 2 and 3 and 4 steps ahead of a developer. A developer, yeah. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work, my friends. Just not. I've been in the mix. I know it ain't gonna work. They will be outwitted, outsmarted, maneuvered, all of that. All of that. That's why they left. All right, let me get some more of this chat there. I'm telling you, that's the answer, my guy. And until you've been in that circle and been in those meetings with with CEOs, you don't know. You have no clue. All right, Alex G. Siege, what's going on? SEC, what's this with losing the did they rule on that? I haven't seen anything. Jungle Leak says that most of the devs argue with me that the DEX wasn't important when I was doing those gold and Bitcoin vids. Yeah, and do you know whether or not the devs were employees back in the day, Jungle? I'm certain at 2012, 2013, 2014, they were. And also, did you notice how David Schwartz moved from employee, works at Ripple, to kind of, what's the dude's gig right now? What's his title? Leading the vision of the company? Leading the vision of the company. What does that mean? Are you a W-2 dude or not? What's going on? So most of them argue with me that the DEX wasn't important. The DEX wasn't, the devs argue with you that the decentralized exchange wasn't important. And were those, when I'm asking you, were those devs employees at Ripple? Because I would contend that they were. And I would say that if you're an employee with a title of a developer, you're an employee first. You're not making command decisions. I think that's where the mistake was. Of course they do. Jungle says, plus all the devs beat around the bush when I bring up the issues with the UNL and decentralized issues. I'm telling you, that's what they do. They dance around it. And if you're kind of waiting on some grant thing to do something as a project, it's like it's difficult to start up a project. And you got to tippy toe around. You got to tippy toe around some grants program. Blair came onto the scene. Blair Network came on the scene and they gave you a playbook. It's textbook. Textbook to how to get around that nonsense. Textbook, baby. I mean, it really is. You don't have to apologize, bro. It's all good. Jungle, it's all good, bro. All right, so Alex E said, just found out that BlackRock invested on the top 5 Bitcoin mining. Of course they are. They're the 4th branch of the United States government. They already own 88% of everything already between them, State Vanguard and State Street. Of course they are, Alex G. Oh, Jungle says, I've been calling BS on that thing for a while. Yeah, come on, man. No, look, they got a good-looking, articulate, well-spoken CEO leading the charge in the direction of that XRPL. That's the bottom line. And I'm not suggesting he's looking to do harm. He's not. Of course he's not. But that's not a community-driven thing. It's not. Now, are we blessed in a lot of ways with Ripple and Chris and Brad? I believe so. I believe so. But what I'm saying is don't kind of promote this, this open permission decentralized thing. No. Again, I will point out that foundation or that Ripple X dev thing, that just got started 2-3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, maybe. I'm telling you, want to know the real answers? Have a private conversation with people from Sologenic. Just have a little conversation with them. They'll tell you the real deal. They'll tell you the real deal. Has Ripple, the company, been great stewards of the XRP? I would say they have been really, really good. Really, really good. They're not looking to cause you and I harm, but to sit back and think that the community, that the XRP holder is their number one priority is just naive. I believe that this new network with smart contract capabilities is going to attract a lot of projects to hop on that thing because they understand the prowess of the ledger. They just needed this smart contracts thing. And this hook store is going to be massive for the developers. They're going to be all on that thing, all on it. But to Ripple, you know, the Zahao network is a test network. It's a canary network. It's a canary. Prove to me, show me that this thing can work. It ain't gonna break. Show me. That's what it's for. In their mind. In their mind, that's what it's for. My opinion, Vise Wen gave Ripple a shot, and then he's like, those dudes got together over at XRP Labs and said, why don't we just do our own thing? Built their own network. And I don't blame them one bit. I don't blame them one bit. And then Flare Networks Flare just took it to another level with their own vision, with their own aspirations. And I applaud them. I will be participating. I'll be minting some F assets over there without question. And I will be participating on any project of substance on the new network. But again, personally, from my personal experience, I have spoken with the project that I think is going to be game-changing to come to the ledger, the mainnet, and they have to wait for the hooks thing. Well, at least they had to wait for the hooks thing. Flat out, they had to wait. Is there a time period on yay or nay on something on the hooks, on amendments or proposals? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. So that's kind of my main thing here. Let's see. I took all kind of notes because I think it's important. Look, I think it's hugely important. We'll talk utility here in a second, but I think it's hugely important that people be willing to have open conversation. I mentioned DAI. I mentioned digital perspectives for a reason. They're the loudest people in the community, the loudest. But to put them on some freaking list for misinformation or I don't know, they call it like a misinformation conspiracy theorist. What for? Why are you putting them on a list? Be louder than them. What happened? You can't hop on a YouTube and make a channel? Why? What are you busy building that you can't hop on a YouTube channel? I got a very, very simple thing. If all you can do is just, let me give you a little suggestion. Here it is. You feel as though content creators putting out conspiracy stuff, they put it out, don't they? You could go comment on the YouTube video. You could go copy when they put that YouTube video on Twitter. This is inaccurate. It's misleading. What else? And outdated information. If you would like better, well-informed and accurate information, I highly recommend you check out Jungle Inc., Solomon, Darren Moore, Mickey B. Fresh, just to name a few. Just be louder, sitting back and complaining about it and coming up with a list. Come on. A list. What's that list gonna do? Ralph Kahneman had like 6 points for I think he did 5 points, 5 points for, posting good stuff. And I added a 6. Don't forget that you live in a glass house just like everyone else. That's an easy thing you could retweet the loudest community content creators, retweet their stuff. This is inaccurate. It's misleading. Portions of this video is inaccurate, misleading, and outdated. For the new XRP community holders, for better, well-informed, and accurate information, I highly recommend MickeyBFresh.com. Just be louder. Like, it's not hard. Just be louder than them. But this whole idea of a list, I'm telling you, that's going to cause some problems. And here's the other problem. What about the well-informed and accurate non-conspiracy list? What about that list? Who have you left off of that? What challenges are going to be caused because of that list? And my biggest problem with the list and the people who want to call out the conspiracy theory people, my biggest challenge with that is because that you're using the guise, the sleight hand of protecting investors, protecting XRP holders. How are you protecting them? How can you on Monday, rant on the scourge that is Gary Gensler and the SEC and overreach for their sleight of hand protecting investors, and then use the same thing for why you want to shut down some conspiracy theorist YouTubers? It's the same. You're making the same. You're trying to protect someone from what? That those lists might as well just be, you might as well just call it accredited investors. Just call the well-informed, accurate information thing, just call them accredited, and to call the other ones non-accredited. It's the same concept. And then go publicly display it. That's not a personal list, that's a public list. You made it public. Yeah. This whole thing of protecting the XRP holder from what? Surely an XRP holder and investor is able to come to their own conclusion without your protection. Surely that can happen. That's what the SEC says. They're trying to protect investors from losing their money. That's what the SEC says. Can't you comment? Can't you comment on the loudest of the XRP content creators' videos without ever getting a response to know what's going on with that particular content creator? Can't you figure it out? Can't the new person say, dang, I'm giving up my time to listen to this dude, and he won't even take the time to heart my comment or respond back? Can't they figure that stuff out on their own? Can't they come to a conclusion of some unrealistic idea, notion on their own? I think so. I came to that conclusion on my own. I call them the XRP entertaining content creators. That reminds me that I'm there for entertainment purposes only. Yeah. I saw someone on X saying that they're muting people, and because they mute people who espouse, the conspiracy Riddler things, that the algorithm is showing less and less and less and less and less of their stuff because they've been muting it. Well, look at that. Someone figured it out on their own. They figured out their solution for themselves. But putting a list of people, it's such a bad idea, especially considering that the loudest content creators aren't the enemy. The enemy is the enemy. People like the SEC, Gary Gensler and the SEC, people who came up with the nonsense that is accredited investors. Those people who would sell out their country for personal profit. The enemy. The people who don't want you to choose your own money and your own monetary policy. That's the enemy. It's not DAI and digital perspectives. They're YouTubers. Right? Just smells to me of a lot of massive frustration from the developers, massive frustration from certain content creators, frustrated in a 3-4 year long bear market and trying to vent. And what I would say to developers that are so concerned about that, get louder. If you're concerned, get louder. Nothing is preventing you from doing that. Absolutely nothing. And the other thing is, if you got a project, how come I don't know about it? Can't you reach out just the same way that I can reach out? Can't you reach out? Got a lot of these projects, they're waiting for people to reach out to them. Why? Reach out. This particular project that I told you guys about, they reached out to me. It's just smart. Just smart. Reach out. Reach out to Jungle. Talk with them. Have a conversation. See if it's a good fit. See if he's willing to share a project to come on the XRPL. Reach out. Why are you sitting around waiting for the content creator to reach out? That makes no sense. This is why Arthur and Jed exited when they did, because they don't have that savvy. See what else? I said, look, it's Brad Sharp. Okay, who runs the foundation, and is it an employee of Ripple? I still want to know who runs the foundation ultimately. Is Monica Long and Ashish Burla employees or no? Are they employees or not? And so I have a question for you as well, right? I said, this is what I wrote down. Did the early investors in Google sit at home and say, it's not my job as an investor to use the search engine? Well, I'm just going to wait for Google to make Google Google. Right? I would ask you to think about it. Tell me about your activity with XRP tip box. Tell me about it. Tell me about your activity with that. Tell me about your activity with that streaming thing where you could stream to content creators on YouTube or whatever platform. Tell me about your activity where you participate. You don't have to tell me. Ask yourself, were you participating? Or did you fall into the buy and hold crowd just hanging out on their ledger? But keep talking about how utility is going to rule the day. How? Any company already has a community. You get that? A company has a community. It's called employees. First they got 1, then they got 5, then they have 100. That's the community utilizing a thing, building out and utilizing a thing. Yeah. And the one credit that I will give to the Ethereum community is they figured out a way to get people to get involved. They got test nets and faucets. They got all kinds of stuff to figure out for how the communities to get involved. I would take a page out of the bankless community. I would take a page out of that. Look at what they got going on. Rarely do I hear them talking about rarely, these prices. Rarely. They're always talking about a new project and a new project and a new project. And by the way, a lot of those projects reach out to bankless. What these early projects decided, because everyone is hoodwinked on subscriber count, everybody is bamboozled and hoodwinked on subscriber account. And since the loudest content creators and most of the projects don't espouse to their same ideology, they just sit back talking about the projects, right? No way I'm hopping on this loud channel, and no way I'm hopping on that loud channel. Our ideologies they're not aligned. Well, why don't you reach out to the projects where your ideologies are aligned and stop waiting for people to reach out? You got to get out of stealth mode. I use the XRP tip bot. I was doing that streaming service thing. I have the wallets. I use the Zum wallet. Love it. I got the Decent Wallet app. Got the Bifrost thing. I'm rapping. Aren't you rapping? And not just Jay-Z rapping, like rapping. Are you rapping? Are you participating? I came up with the outro for a reason, because I just saw too many of the loudest voices promoting just hanging out on a ledger and then calling themselves utility maxes. You don't have $10 to spare to check a thing out? Really? You know how many XRP you can get with $10? Jungle. The people are testing Ethereum projects, spending all those gas fees, checking it out, figuring it out, participating on Ethereum. I will ask the Crypto Seizures fam. I shared DexFi with you guys. Have you guys went over there and checked it out? Played with it a little bit, at least been on it, see what it looks like? Did you connect your wallet? Trade into USDC, chase some XRP and USDC, USDC and XRP. Have you tried it out? That's participation. Let me see something here. No, what I want. I'm gonna get to the chat here in a second. Forgive the rant, but I just think it's hugely important. You know, I agree with this Donna Simos guy. I agree with 90% of what he's saying. It takes participation. And I'm telling you, the challenge of projects being able to build is not on the devs, but it's on the company. Let me share this. So here's DexFi right here. Awesome project coming to the XRPL mainnet. Waiting on hooks. Not their fault that they got to wait. Crossmark and wallet integration on DexFi.pro. Make a note of it, DexFi.pro. There's 2 or 3 things you can do in there now. You can swap and trade. Wallet integration on DexFi.pro. Crossmark wallet, Gem wallet, Bifrost Zone. But I believe, I 10,000% believe I think that projects have been just waiting. Can you waiting to get on something on the XRPL? Why would they not? Jungle says, I think if they add hooks, the ledger will blow up. It can't help. Yeah. And maybe they've come to that conclusion. I don't know. Brian Keegan, what's going on, bro? It has been a while. How are you, man? See, it's been a while. How are you doing? Outstanding, brother. How are you? Alex G says, I hope Flare gets me to the promised land. Look, the concession, if you will, was the side chains. The federated side chains, the kind of thing was, well, banks and institutions that want to do other things, they can do the side chain thing. But that was the concession, in my opinion, to projects wanting to do something other than payments. Legendary is in the building. What's going on, bro? Legendary says, just heard X.com will be using XRP. Love it. I'm still digging into it. Looks good so far. Really. Do share. Gail Sheen, long time. What's going on, Gail? How are you? You coming to the Ripple party in New York City, Siege? Yes. That is the plan. That is the plan for sure. If I'm still invited, I might have uninvited myself. You're all in on XRP. I love it. All right, let me kind of catch up to this chat. Legendary, do tell us more about this, about X.com using XRP. Nilla, I'm all in with 3K XRP. Love it, Gail. All right, nice. You'll get there, bro. You'll get there. Or my friend, I should say. Diego G has a great point. Perhaps Hooks competes with Ripple's EVM sidechain. Perhaps it does. Right now, I'm just not really. I'm not really. XRP Foundation came out with the Hello Zao thing. Not really feeling that. Feels like there's some tension there. Feels like it. Again, you can call yourself a dev all you want, but if you are in someone's employ, how much say you got? Michael O2 says, if Hooks brings greatness, then let it be. But Diego G, man, appreciate you being here. You're probably right about that. I remember when I first saw and read about the XRPL EVM sidechain. Kind of sounds like what Flare Networks did, doesn't it? Really does. Really does. So XRP Plus is a wrapped version of XRP that gets burned on the swap. Can you swap back? No, X Factor. You cannot swap back. You cannot swap back. But, you know, my thing is, if I do 1, 3, 4, 5 XRP, cool. But most of my XRP Plus I will get once it's listed somewhere else. I'll just turn that dirty, nasty fiat into XRP Plus once that happens. But again, this is, you know, like things change and evolve, right? So just because something is one way today doesn't mean it's always going to be one way, right? Things have to get started, right? Things have to get started. That's what I would say. And just Jungle Inc. said the same thing right here. You will be able to buy XRP Plus on the open market, so no need to worry about having to burn. Exactly right. My understanding from listening to the devs talk the other day that the burn to mint thing was really technically already on mainnet ledger, and they needed to have it on the Zahao network. They needed to have it there. Michael O2 says September must be settlement party. You don't celebrate if you're not 100% you've won. I hear you, my friend. Did he really? Jungle says the win originally developed a mechanism to block people in mass. What? I got on the backlist and got blocked by a bunch of my friends and XRP community members back in the day. Oh no, that's not great. Rudy Poo says celebrate, dance to the music with Brad G gangs. Yeah. Billionaire H, that's right. I agree. Everybody will learn at their speed, but they must be allowed to learn. Yep, you can't protect them. They got to figure it out on their own. Mr. XRP says, how do we get the enemy out of the office? You got to come together. You got to come together, not create lists that will just cause more division. Jungle says the foundation is solid. XRPL Rabbit may be the most important person in the XRP ecosystem. Why is that, Jungle? X Factor says there's barely anything XRP that we can use on a regular basis. Ripple seems to only care about cross-border payments. XRP Plus seems to be the first time devs have tools to create anything of value. Yeah, I mean, the smart contract capability was a massive, you know, EVM capable and all that stuff is a massive deal. There's a reason why a lot of people are hopping off Ethereum and hopping onto Solana and hopping on Polygon, right? The XRPL ledger is all of that already. It just needs smart contracts. It can move anything of value in 3 to 5 seconds for less than a penny. What project would not want to be able to tell their community, you can hop on here and do this and this and this for less than a penny? It's never been broken. Of course, the projects would love to be on it, but they can't bill on it. It's a payments thing right now. Yeah. Oh, without question. And that is the other part of it. Jungle says the only thing that bothers me is the hook sidechain could have been more complementary. Imagine if Matic took the same stance as hook sidechain. I feel they let things get too emotional. Yeah, you can feel it, right? You can feel like tension. And remember this hooks thing, if you will, is kind of this hooks and Evernote and the Gate Hub thing, right? Where, for me, where is this contention and or tension coming from? Legendary says X has applied for payment processor license in Rhode Island. It doesn't mention XRP by name, but defines what digital assets are. We know that they can use anything they want, but only XRP has clarity. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so that's kind of where I am with that too, fam. Let me see what other, I took all kind of notes on this, gentleman. I took like, what the world? See, did I cover everything? I think I did cover everything. So to my dev friends out there, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. And I would encourage you, if you're challenged with the loudest voices in the XRP community, resolve to be louder. But I am not a fan of a list that would inevitably, by default, pit one group against the other. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Wojak has some good stuff, has some good comments. Has some really good comments. Or is it posts now? What is it? Yes, posts. So yeah, I wanted to bring that to you guys in this kind of way. And Wojak has some good stuff. Definitely follow him, right? And check out what he's got going on. But you know, I get the frustration that they have with the loudest voices in the community. I get it, but I think that if you can't have a public, respectable conversation, then what good does it do you? If you're trying to have a respectful public conversation and the loudest people in the community won't participate in that, then you know where the problem lies. Then you know where the problem lies. And so, yeah, just be louder, right? And definitely developers out there, you should be promoting the MickeyBFresh.com thing, you know, without question. Like, promote it all the time. And again, I'm telling you, my suggestion is golden. You see some stuff on there that you feel like is misleading, you can repost it. This is inaccurate, it's misleading and outdated. For better, well-informed and accurate information, I highly recommend, and just fill in the blank. Fill in the blank with Jungle, fill in the blank with Crypto Eddie, Solomon, Darren Moore, right? Fill in the blank. But don't try to protect investors from loud content creators. It won't work. It won't work. Thank you, Jungle. Jungle says, great show, buddy. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. There's no roadblock for Stellar. It's firing on all cylinders. Yeah. Danelle is doing her thing over there. God bless her. All right, fam. Look, it's been a real cool hang. I appreciate each and every one of you. Do me a favor. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, no worries. Just collapse the chat real quick and go smash the like button for the Crypto Seeds. That's the best thing you can do for the channel. And if you've been hanging out, just watching and listening to the Crypto Seed and hadn't taken the chance to subscribe to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that notification bell so you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. I'm going to end this video like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this, that old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay though, because you and I, we're already winning. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See you. Bye.